Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Desire Talks podcast. I did it again. I mumbled. I said, welcome back to Desire. I need to pronunciate that. Welcome back to the Desire Talks podcast. I need to be better at that, don't I? Well, I am your host, Ethan Bradbury, a.k.a. Mr. Britain X, a.k.a. you'll find me on OnlyFans with that username. Give me a search, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, go check out. Anyway, today we have a special guest from the States. Well, his name's Boston Jock, so I'm hoping he's from the States anyway. Otherwise, I'm just an idiot. No, I'm joking. I know he's from the States. He is actually coming to fly over to meet me because I'm such a special person. And now he's coming to my event, my Desire events for content creators, which honestly we've had a couple of them now. I've drawn a blank then, and they are amazing. And it's such a good working, good networking possibility. You get to meet loads of other people, and it's just a good laugh. We all socialize. Some people do content, and then we all just go out in town and just get absolutely smashed because that's the way we roll. So anyway, let's get him on, Boston Jock. Right, everyone. So here we have Boston. Say hello to everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, so Boston Jock, I'm assuming I've got in with that's location and obviously the jock stereotype. How do you want me to refer to you as?
You can use Ken. That's fine.
Ken? Cool.
Ken's good.
Yeah. Right, so all the way through. I'll just refer to you as Ken, but everyone, if you go into social media, search Boston Jock because that's where you're going to find him. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Obviously, I live in Boston. I just moved here a couple of years ago. I was in the Navy for 16 years. And so this is kind of where I landed when I got out of it. And I've been doing the content creating thing for like 2 years now. So that's been exciting. Other than that, like I work for the electric company. I have a day job, kind of, the Clark Kent thing where trainer by day and content creator by night. So it's fun.
So were you a COVID OnlyFanser? So you said 2 years ago. That was roughly the lockdown started, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I did a lot of solo stuff during that time. It was kind of like, solo stuff in the house or like go out to the local park or something like that. By park, we've got a nature reserve right behind my house, a lot of walking trails and that kind of stuff. So lots of secluded areas to go. And I did some like nature stuff out there, but I was also one of those people that like throughout COVID, I did start collaborating with people that I, had within my circle of kind of circle of trust, circle of, people that like we would hang out together, even though maybe it wasn't the most socially responsible or acceptable thing.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not judging. Everyone's got their different stances on it, and now we're coming out the other end of COVID, aren't we? And I think governments are just kind of going, yeah, we went a little bit OTT. But at the end of the day, it was new to everyone, wasn't it? We had to do what we had to do. So obviously you've been doing this 2 years, and you've got your day job still. How would you find that as a balance?
It gets interesting sometimes. Like my bosses wouldn't care if they found out, if they knew about it. It's not something I advertise, but it can make for a long day when you do an 8-hour shift and then go and do like last Friday I worked a full day. I worked from like 5:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And then I got off shift. I went to the gym, worked out for an hour. And then I actually worked an event last Friday. I worked a bachelor party.
Oh, cool.
So I went a couple of gay guys getting married. They had their bachelor party. So I went and I was the entertainment for the bachelor party for like 5 hours. And then I got to go home. So it can make for a long day sometimes.
So that, I didn't realize you did that. So other than content creation, you actually do event things. So what kind of thing did you do at the bachelor party?
So I don't really strip per se, because I don't have I have all the grace of a water buffalo. I can't dance and take my pants off at the same time. It just doesn't work. So like I went and I was basically their butler or their bartender. So like my sole purpose at the party was to make drinks for the two grooms. But also every like 15 minutes or so, I would wander off and then I'd come back with one less article of clothing. So like the shirt came off, but so when I showed up, I had like a bow tie on with a dress shirt, vest, pants, dress shoes, towel on my arm. And then like I came back without the dress shirt on, but I still had the vest and the bow tie and like the stripper cuffs. And then like I'd wander off again and the vest left. And then I wander off again, the pants went away, but I had like shorts on. And then I came back with just a jock strap. So by the end of the night, I was running around in, a pair of like Chuck Taylor shoes, a jock strap, and a bow tie, making drinks for the grooms.
Sounds quite fun, actually.
Fun.
So how long have you been doing that then? Have you been doing that longer than the content, or has that been since?
No, that's only been like the last couple of months I started doing, that kind of stuff. It's my focus has been on the content creating kind of stuff. And that led into this where one of my fans asked if I would work a private event. And that took some thinking, like, okay, am I comfortable with this? Is that something that I really want to do? And then, so I kind of made that transition to, also doing private events.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, it's been a very recent thought of my own. Because one of my friends last year, he done the whole butlering in a buff thing, and that was pretty much his job, and he loved it. But every Friday, every Saturday, always booked up. But he just seemed to get a kick out of it. He just said it was so much fun. Personally, I will not sacrifice my weekends any more than I have done in life. I've worked in the fitness industry for years before now. I don't do that anymore. And that kind of industry just ruins your social life,
Yeah.
So, yeah. You were saying before you were in the Navy.
Yes.
Yeah, so
that ruins your social life.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm preaching to somebody who was getting shipped off for months and months. So you, obviously, I actually introed saying that you're coming over to the UK soon. Yes. When you were in the Navy, I believe you came over here quite a bit as well.
Yeah, so I spent quite a bit of time up in Scotland, Helensburgh. We pulled in there a lot, and then I actually spent a couple of weeks over in both Portsmouth and then a couple of weeks in Plymouth, doing like an exchange program. I trained with the British Royal Navy for a while, doing submarine escape stuff down in Gosport. So I did spend some time over there. It was always in a military capacity where I was with my unit or with the military. So I didn't really get a chance to like go meet people. So this will be kind of a different experience for me, flying over, coming up to Liverpool in London and that kind of stuff. So
cool. The reason I was going into that is, the forces isn't, quotation marks, very gay, LGBT.
Yes.
I've heard very many a story of a lot of naughty antics going on in the forces. Would you agree that happens?
Oh, yes. So it's one of those interesting like dual scenarios where you get the impression that the military is very anti-gay, or at least not the most gay friendly. And that's true in a lot of ways. But then at the same time, you have like, you get a unit of people going out, stuck in either, a wilderness environment, or they're stuck, like for me, it was inside of a submarine, tin can, throw it underwater. And you get a bunch of dudes stuck in there for a length of time together. People have some loosening morals or some, curiosities they want to explore. And so there's always somebody willing to help you explore or relieve a little stress or, whatever the case is. So I definitely know of some antics that have occurred, and some, people that I never thought would hook up with a dude that hooked up with a dude while we were out, deployed.
I'm imagining it's either one extreme to the other. Is it like when you were first exploring your sexuality as like a teenager, where you're like, hey mate, do you want to watch some porn together? And then it kind of escalates from there? Or it was just literally a whole, oh yeah, Gary down in the such and such room, he's offering out blowjobs, right? I can't imagine how
it usually starts as more of a joke. or a lot of times it's a joke, or like, man, I haven't gotten off in like 3 weeks because we've been gone for 3 weeks, and I could really use a blowjob. And someone's like, well, I'll give you a blowjob. Like, wait, what? Joking. Unless you really want one. Yeah, I'll take one. Like, so it goes from there. You get a feel for somebody, and the longer we're out, the longer we're away from home, the more people get sexually frustrated, and like, I'm so sick of beating off. Like, well, I could help you out with that, or like,
yeah.
So yeah, that's usually, or you just walk around the corner and find someone beating themselves off, and you're like, want some help with that?
So yeah, I went into that because I thought I've never really discussed this with someone. I bet you the audience like, oh my god, this actually happens. I bet they don't even know, but yeah, it does.
No, it happens. It happens.
Yeah. All right then. So let's get back onto your content. So you've been doing it obviously 2 years. You've said you do collabs. You've done like a lot of solo. You've done outdoors. If I was to sign up to your page, what would I expect? Would it be? Is it, do you do pay-to-view content? Is it all on your wall? Is it very vanilla? Does it go into kink?
So the vast majority of all of my stuff is open with the single subscription price. The only time I really do a pay-per-view content is when I film with somebody who also does that.
Okay.
So I tend to follow the lead of who I'm filming with. So like there's a Canadian couple that I film with, Ryan and Chad. I've done a few different collabs with them. And so they like to do pre-releases. So I follow suit with them. We'll do a pre-release like a month out, where we'll put the video out for say $7.99 as a paid, pre-release. You wait the month, it's going to go up on the wall, go up on, a post to open to the account. But it's that, you're paying for the pre-release to see it early.
Yeah.
But all my stuff's open, one subscription price. And I am very versatile in content and in what I do. So there's some that's kind of more vanilla, very little of that. I tend to either have very like dominant aggressive stuff, or like especially with my solo stuff where the toy play is tends more towards kink, sounding large toys, depth play, that kind of stuff. And then I'm versatile, so I either top or bottom. Sometimes we flip in videos, but it's usually more like dominant, aggressive kind of stuff, whether I'm the top or the bottom. But most of my top stuff is very physically dominate and aggressive, and then my bottom stuff is similar, but with me on bottom.
So just to say that about you bottoming, so are you like an aggressive bottom, or are you saying that the top is being aggressively dominant to you?
Yeah, so I am a very dominant and aggressive top, but I'm a very, very submissive, kind of greedy bottom. So like one of us is getting pinned down and pounded and hopefully going to scream. It's just a matter of who that's going to
be. Okay. So I imagine your flip fuck scenes are pretty extreme.
Yes. Yeah. They can go one direction to the other quickly.
So yeah, it's quite a good surprise for the audience. Like, I thought that person was top. Oh my God, he's not.
Yes.
It's like he can give and he can take a beating. Because normally like an aggressive top wouldn't be able to take a pounding either. It'd be like a fragile bottom.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that, but like there are definitely videos, on my wall where like I am extremely dominant, extremely aggressive. I've got the bottom pinned down, he's screaming, and then there's videos on my wall with some of like really big dick top who's just got me moaning like a little whore, and it's you get to see both perspectives of it.
That's quite good. All right, I bet the audience now are into gay content. Are like, oh my God, like this sounds amazing. Actually, while we're on the subject of your content, how much is it to subscribe?
It kind of depends on the platform. So like OnlyFans is $4.99 a month. So I keep OnlyFans. Yeah, so I keep OnlyFans nice and cheap.
Yeah.
Part of that is because we all know that OnlyFans has, restrictions, and, what you can post, there's limited stuff comes down all the time. So just for fans is, I keep it $7.99, but that's because Just for Fans is much more stable. I can post everything there. I don't have the same problems. OnlyFans, you subscribe there, I can't promise you that the same video you're going to see today is going to be there tomorrow, because they might take it down. We've all had these problems with OnlyFans. So I've made the decision to keep that lower because their platform is not as reliable.
No one's ever actually said that before. They've set different prices.
People out.
Yeah, no, that's cool. No one's ever actually expressed that that's a limiting factor of OnlyFans, and dropping their price to compensate for that. So that's good. So the content that's on Just for Fans, what's different that you post there compared to your OnlyFans?
So Just for Fans is less restrictive on some of the stuff. So like, I have to edit out any kind of like really aggressive verbal stuff that goes onto OnlyFans. I can't be as verbal with, if I'm the top, I can't tell the bottom to shut up and take it, you little whore, because OnlyFans can and has taken that step down.
Yeah.
Just for Fans is much less restrictive on that stuff. So there's less editing that goes into the stuff that's on Just for Fans, and then some of it too is the people that I collaborate with. So I've got several of people that I filmed with who aren't on OnlyFans because of the issues that OnlyFans has had. So that whole like consent form struggle that we deal with, it's much harder for me to get it uploaded onto OnlyFans. So you'll see some content on Just for Fans that is, I don't want to say exclusive, but it's not on OnlyFans. So
I actually talked about this on the last podcast I done, where OnlyFans really dislike forms. They're like, yeah, that form's fine, we'll use that. And then next time they're like, nah, that's not good enough. It's like, you gave me the form. This was yours.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And that's why, so I know you and I talked about this in one of our group chats. Like,
yeah,
I don't use the OnlyFans form. Pornhub put out a form that is what I use because it has been very successful across the board. With every site that I've tried using it on, that they're happy with the Pornhub form. Pornhub has actually since taken it down, but I fortunately downloaded the form. And that's the only way that I can consistently make sure that this stuff gets uploaded, because exactly like you said, I've tried using the OnlyFans form, and one day they'll take it, the next day they won't, and then you're trying to chase down this person that you collaborated with and be like, hey, so they won't accept my form, can I get you to fill out another form? And it's that's a lot to ask from somebody, to be honest. Like,
yeah,
hey, we fucked once, but I need you to fill out this extra legal paperwork because
yeah, it is. It's understandable that the site has to do it, but they need to pick a form and stick with it. And they have apparently got a new thing. Someone got pulled up about some content, and they sent her a link, and she could send that link to other people, and they could just agree and upload their ID photo and their photo to that link direct. There was no form needed. And I was like, how come I've never heard anyone else get this? And then some people still get forms, some people getting this. It's all different across the board.
Yeah, so Just for Fans actually does that. In lieu of uploading consent documents, you can actually type in like you can give Just for Fans either a phone number or an email address, and they'll do that. They'll send the link on That's your great. Behalf, and it's I've actually had one of the people I collaborated do that, where it just texts them and asks them a whole bunch of questions. They have to upload a picture of their ID, take a selfie, and they can do it all right from a text message, and then or from the link through the email. That's and so it does eliminate that form, but that's only for the Just for Fans platform. So like, if I film with somebody who's, they're on OnlyFans, but they're not on Just for Fans or For My Fans or Raw Fuck Club. Now, I can get them approved with that through Just for Fans, but that doesn't apply. That now I still can't upload it to the other platforms that I'm on. So,
yeah, I mean, that's why it's easier just to model release form everyone you can really. Once you've got it on file, you've got it on file. Yeah, so I bet you now fans like, I don't want to know about forms. I want to know about naughty stuff. Yeah. So I know full well that you have a dick piercing.
I do have a dick piercing. Yep.
Yeah, how long you had that?
I have had that for about almost a year. I got it in September.
What made you get that?
So I've always really liked the aesthetics of a Prince Albert. I've always thought it looked really good. I'd never actually seen one in person. It was always like pictures, videos,
okay,
on the internet, and I'd never seen one, but I really liked it. So I got one.
Yeah.
I just decided I was gonna do it, and it was funny because like 5 months after I got mine, I met the first person that actually had one. So I got to see one in person that wasn't my own.
Yeah, I've seen one in person, and they're not as like as you can imagine, but it's just, was it not painful? Does it not cause any awkwardness or uncomfortableness or anything?
So it didn't. People laugh at me all the time when I say this. It didn't hurt. There was a little pinch, and that was about it. Honestly, the worst part of the Prince Albert piercing was they put a receiving tube down the urethra that they pierce into, and so it's a big hollow sounding rod. Sounding anyway.
So they pierce from the outside in.
Yep.
I thought they'd put the needle down and jab out.
Nope. So they take a hollow tube. So it's a sounding rod. It's just hollow, and they stuff it down inside, and it's angled on the end, so that when they stuff the needle in, the tube catches it, and then what they'll do is on the back end of the needle, they thread the bar, pull it all through, and then put the balls on the end, and you're done.
I did not picture that. I thought it'd be the other way around. Like, I'd be worried if it missed and went through.
Yeah, well, that's why you have the hollow rod in there, so that they have something to aim for. And honestly, that was the least comfortable part, but I'm into sounding, so it was more of like, don't get hard, than, oh, this is really uncomfortable. So
yeah,
for me, it was more like just mentally trying not to get an erection while this piercer had my dick in his hand and was trying to stuff a needle through it.
Yeah.
I used to have my belly button pierced. No, well, so some people get really nervous about it. Because my piercing is also a little bit larger than average. It's all based off of the size of the head of your penis and like where the connective tissue lines up.
I thought you were just bragging then. I've got to have a bigger one because I've got a bigger one.
No, it's based off of where the connective tissue is. And so like my ring is a little bit bigger than average. So people see it and they're like, I don't know that I can handle that. Or I don't want, that's not going to go inside of me. So I do have to take it out sometimes. But a lot of times I can convince people to at least give it a try. And then they find out that it's really not that terrible going in, and it feels really good when it's inside.
Happy
so
days.
I do take it out sometimes, but when possible, I try to encourage people to at least give it a shot. So I wear a captive bead ring, which is a little bit harder to get out. So if I don't have my pliers with me, I have to use a set of pliers to pry the ring open to pull the ball out. If I don't have the pliers with me, it's much more difficult for me to get it out. I can, but I have to really want to fuck you to do it.
Okay, cool. I'll be honest, it was quite a long time ago. I contemplated getting a frenum piercing, which is obviously nothing compared to a PA. But with a frenum, it's obviously a weaker bit of skin. And I just thought, if I end up ripping my banjo cord, I mean, not trying to toot my own trumpet, but I have a beautiful looking penis and I just don't want to ruin it.
Right. No, that's fair.
But the frenum, I just thought, just two little ball bearings on either side of the banjo. I was like, that looks nice. That looks funky. But at least with the PA, you've got like a sturdy bit of meat that holds that in place,
Yeah, until you get to the larger gauges. And I'm intentionally not going to go too big. But there are a lot of people who they just keep gauging up and getting a thicker and thicker ring until that actually separates. And so I've met a couple people that have, like, they used to have Prince Alberts, but they don't anymore because it's split all the way. And
so they're the ones that look like it's like a snake jaw or the predator face.
Yep, exactly. So that's why we don't go too big on the gauge.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Learn something new every day. All right. So we actually have quite a few fan questions, don't we? And the first one is actually to do with your piercing, which is do you remove it when you top? And as you said, very rarely.
Yeah. So I mean, I do. And like especially if I'm going somewhere, a sex party, or I'm going to collaborate, I'll bring my pliers with me, very specifically so that if somebody's uncomfortable with it, I can just take it out and it's not a big deal. But when I can encourage somebody to give it a try, I do, just because it's a different experience, and it's something that it's uncommon enough that you might not run into it again for 5-10 years. So why not give it a try while you have the opportunity?
That's a good point, actually. Just give it a go. Take it off your bucket list. Even if it's not on your bucket list, it's something new. Okay, so number 2, do a lot of clients request bareback sex? So when this is saying clients, I'm going to take a stab and say, is it that in relation to escorting? Do you escort?
So I don't strictly escort. I do like the private events. I guess you could, expand that into say escorting.
So you're probably saying when you're at an event, if you're just kind of in the mood and there's an opportunity that arises, you're probably like, yeah, that person's hot. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So like, if the opportunity arises, or if I'm working the event and the client, says, hey, we'd like to take this from visual and entertaining to sexual, and,
okay,
have you stay a little bit extra time, like, whatever, sure. But yeah, the answer for the vast majority of scenarios, yes, the ask has been for bareback.
Okay. So in that situation, obviously PrEP's out there as a miracle drug. Do you say okay because or do you go no?
It's a conversation point. I'm not opposed to it. But it is a conversation point. We do have to have the conversation of status at that point, which some people are comfortable with, some people are not. But I'm not, I'm not going to go there unless we have that conversation. And you can only trust people as far as, as far as you can trust them. But, we at least have the conversation of, what the status is, when last time somebody was tested. I have all of my testing accessible through my doctor's website, so I can prove my status.
That's really cool, because they don't have that over here yet, where they do on certain things, but that's through your doctor.
So through my doctor's website, like I can go in, I can access all of my laboratory results, I can access all of my health record. So like if push comes to shove, or like if we were going to film together, I could just pull up my last visit with my doctor, and here's all the labs. Like I'd also be showing you my hemoglobin levels and my liver function tests and whatever else he did. But
that's awesome.
You'd be able to see what the STD tests come back as. So
that's really good. I mean that's game changing. Because in the UK, it's kind of like, right, I've had to get them done. I've had to email ahead, and I've had to, here's a PDF. But if you're literally like, I will log in now, that can't be faked, is what I'm getting at. Is a lot of people can bullshit, and you're just like, no, this is legit. That's the date of it.
Here's the hallmarkhealth.org website that you can, that's who my doctor's through. And like, here's my login portal, and here's the lab results on the official website. So yeah, you can't fake it. And it's, we at least have the conversation, and then I make an informed decision before I do have bareback sex with somebody.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Move on to the next one. So what caused you to pursue this? And they've kind of worded it wrong. I'll reword it for you. Has it ever been awkward for you? So what's pursued you to get into the content creation, and has it ever been awkward?
So this is one that people find funny, and I've had people call bullshit on this one before. So the whole reason that I started my Instagram account and started doing OnlyFans is that I have very bad body dysmorphia. When I started working out, I was 110 pounds, about the size of a toothpick. no muscle definition. I'm 5'7". I'm 5'7". So 110 pounds is ridiculously light. And when I look in a mirror, that's still what I see. I'm still 5'7", but I'm 190 pounds now. So there's an 80-pound difference, but I don't see it. So one of the things that, or one of the reasons that I started to do Instagram, do OnlyFans, was other people see the difference, and other people definitely appreciate what they see. So for me, it's the positive reinforcement of, even though I don't see it, if somebody else, if enough other people are telling me that what they see is not what I see, it tells me that my perspective is off, and it helps me to, remember that I am making progress, even if I can't see it or I can't identify it. So that was really the primary reason that I started, was positive reinforcement of, what I can't see or what I can't identify. And then I also have a little bit of an exhibitionist streak. So, I kind of get off on people watching me fuck other people, or get fucked. And, so kind of the two of those lend themselves very readily to the content creating kind of profession. So yeah.
I actually agree with you with the whole, because I used to the fitness influencer thing. I felt still then there's a lot of pressure, but that kind of made me a little bit more accepting, like, oh, I am actually in shape. But when it got onto the sexual side, I have never been more comfortable with myself. I just think, are you like me? Do you feel more comfortable completely naked or in clothes?
It depends on the environment, but I'm very comfortable naked.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable naked.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
I never used to be.
Fully exposed, but you're like, I don't know, that's me, but I just think the comments you get from doing sex work, it's kind of, people don't notice the little lumps and bumps. It's like they go, good physique, nice dick, happy days, instead of in the fitness influence, it's like influencer side, it's like they'll get little details and you're like,
yep,
yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I used to be the guy that would go to the beach in like very long shorts, wear a t-shirt. I wouldn't take my clothes off, and now I'm, whatever the smallest bikini brief I can put on is what I'm, wearing, unless it's a nude beach. And then I'm in my birthday suit. But yeah, no, it's to your point, like it's in the fitness side of it, which I kind of, I tread that middle ground, because I am a bodybuilder. I am more muscular. People do get very nitpicky about some of the stuff, like proportions, or, if you're lopsided, or you're like, traps are underdeveloped, or, people will point that out, and that's in some ways good, but it's that is a different perspective than the content creating side of it, where you're, just porn. Like, are you a good body? Do you have a good body, and do you fuck well?
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Straight into it. How many times do you masturbate per week/day?
Well, that depends. Usually, almost always at least once a day. So 7 times a week at a minimum. But there are definitely days where 4 or 5 times.
God.
But that's also like, so the question doesn't account for the number of times that I have sex in a week as well. So it's like,
all right. So how many times do you come in a week?
Yeah. So like, that's the thing, is it's 7 at a minimum, probably. I mean, that maximum gets a little squishy, because like, so 2 weeks ago, I was with this guy, and I came 7 times in one night. So like,
oh my God.
I mean, he was hot. I just had it, good little bottom, and it was fun. But so, 7 to 30.
God, I'm envious. I mean, they might have heard it before on here, I don't know, but I am the reverse Pringle. Once I pop, I do stop. There's nothing more you get out of me. I could probably do 2 in a day, but I've got to have a hell of a break, and it won't be I'll have a wank later, because I ain't got no drive. But I could like do a scene and then do a scene later, and obviously the person is stimulating me visually and physically. But yeah, if I've had a tug that day, I ain't popping another one out. I don't want to. I'll be like,
No, give me like 2 minutes in a glass of water. I'm good. Sometimes not even the 2 minutes. I can just especially if I'm with somebody that I'm actually legitimately attracted to. I can just roll from one to another usually by the third one I need to stop because I sweat a lot. So usually, like if I do 3 in a row, I need water. I need
need to
break,
rehydrate before you get
for
a
a
headache.
Snack. Yeah,
get those electrolytes in.
And then, so one of the people I filmed with, definitely that Jason, one of our videos is live now. But he and I actually like went 6 times in a row. We did 3 consecutive, no break, stopped, grabbed some water, did 2 more times, stopped, had a snack, jumped in the shower. And then while we were showering off, I set up the cameras and we did a 3rd round, or a 6th round. But, yeah, no, it's like if I'm really attracted to somebody, I can just keep going.
That's a talent. That's a skill. That's impressive. Right, on to the next question, which is like the most face palmy question you could have got. You know the one yeah. It's just horny ?
So the answer is no. So it's funny. I actually get this one a lot, like way too much.
Yeah.
I get a lot of messages a day. I've only got like 17,000 followers on Instagram, and I get probably 100 of these a day where it's, are you horny? Like, let's jerk off together. I can guarantee you that if you're asking me that, I'm not.
It's like, it's the inappropriate ones as well. That's inappropriate, but they're the ones where it's like you post on your story like, oh, I'm really unwell today, having a day in bed. And then they're like, I know how to make you feel better. I could suck your dick. I'm like, oh, that's not what I want to hear.
Right?
No. It's like,
I don't know what it is.
It's like my nan's in hospital. Oh, well, you're really horny though. Fucking weirdo. Leave me alone.
Like just because I'm a sex worker doesn't mean that I'm horny 24/7. Like, like if I'm at work, I'm not horny. Like I might be on Instagram if I'm at work because my job allows me that, but I'm probably not horny. And like, let's be honest, I'm not going to jerk off with you on a video call unless you're willing to pay a fair amount of money for it, because that doesn't do anything for me. Yeah. But people ask all the time.
It's when you get the you can get the video calls, can't you, through Instagram? You just get them out of the blue, and I'm like, excuse me. I'm trying to watch Netflix here. Leave me alone.
Right. It's the most awkward one was I have a partner. I don't advertise it, but I don't hide it. And we have certain rules that we abide by, namely that like I'm not allowed to post pictures of us on social media. And we're very open about what I do, and it's all with consent and approval and in the relationship. But like I was driving down the road and I have my phone up mounted on the dashboard like a lot of people do, and I'm using it to navigate, and my sister-in-law is in the back seat, and I'm driving along, and all of a sudden I get an Instagram call from I forget what the name is, but it's like Dick Sucker 69 or some ridiculous name, and I'm like just like my partner and I both go for the phone at the same time and just slap it down onto the floorboards. Like, nope. rip it out of the USB socket. I'm like, why would you? No, do not just video call me out of the blue. I will block you.
Yeah,
that is not okay.
Yeah. So if anyone here wants to do a video call with someone, ask first. And
it's like if you're going to grab my dick, consent first.
Yeah.
And if I say no, that's the end of the conversation.
Ooh, here's an interesting one, and something that I really wanted to discuss, actually. Not just with you, but just in general with anyone on here. How often should you get tested for STIs? Is it after a time period, routine checkup, number of partners, and do you share your STI status prior to sex? Which obviously we've answered that last one.
Okay. So, I mean, my entering argument to this is I'm not a doctor and I'm not a medical professional, so take it for what it is. So I get tested every 3 months, regardless. It's part of, because I'm on prep. That's part of the deal. So every 3 months I get a full STD panel or a full STI panel. Then if I'm going to do a major event, so like I'm coming over to the UK in May at the end of the month. I have an appointment set up at the beginning of the month to do a set of tests before I come over. So if I'm going to do, a major event or a major like trip, I'm going to get tested before, and then I'm going to get tested after. Anytime there's a question, I get tested. If something itches or tingles a little, or something strange color comes out, like I go and get tested. I wouldn't say I link it to a number of partners, but certainly like I'm more of a time kind of guy. So every 3 months, and then definitely if there's any question whatsoever, if somebody that I was with contacts me and says, hey, I think I have, or hey, I'm going to get tested for, like I'm making the appointment right then to go get my own tests done. So I might be conservative on that. I know people that get tested once a year and are perfectly happy with that. I think that's a personal decision, but I would encourage, especially if you're having a lot of sex, that you set some kind of a routine up like that.
I think that's actually a very good response, because you don't always film. You could go periods of time without, couldn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, you're a bulk filmer, aren't you?
So yes, not necessarily by choice. Boston has very few content creators, or very few serious content creators. There's a lot of people that have 1 or 2 videos out, or they're okay filming, but they don't have their own account. So for me to be able to film with anybody that like I can get, kind of a real collaboration with, where we're, maybe sharing different fan bases, or maybe, we both have accounts, I have to travel. So yeah. I do.
Hence you coming to the UK.
Yeah, right. Hence me coming over to the UK. Or like my Dallas trip or my New York City trip. And because I'm traveling, because I'm incurring the expense of plane tickets or train tickets and hotels and all that stuff, I try to make as many videos with that single expense as I can. It's a business, right? So I can write all of that, everything off against the business. I can, write it off against my income taxes. But I try to make it as cost effective as possible. So if I'm going to travel, if I'm going to pay for the plane ticket and I'm going to pay for the hotel room, I might as well, try and book, a few, as many collaborations in there as I can, which does have its risk if we go back to the previous question, but, of STI tests and number of partners. But you have that conversation of, hey, we're going to film together. Like, look, I'm negative. I'm clear of all STIs. FYI, I'm filming with other people. You're, the 4th person I'm filming with on this trip, or, you're the 1st person I'm filming with on this trip. Like, you just let the person know. And I have yet to run into an issue with it.
I was going to say, if anything, though, because it sounds worse, but I think it's actually safer. Because everyone you film with, again, you'll be asking them for their certs. So they'll be normally, like, what it tends to be in the UK, it tends to be within 4 weeks. People want a cert within 4 weeks of you filming. So if every person that you're shooting within that bulk long weekend, however, they're all going to be certed, you're going to be certed, and then you'll be checked afterwards as well. If anything, I see that as probably safer than someone who just gets tested, then over 6 weeks films with 6 people.
Yep. Yeah. And that's why, like, I don't have any kind of shame about, like, I'm coming over to the UK. I think I've got 9 people lined up right now, maybe 10, over the course of the 5 days that I'm there. So, like,
you're going to be exhausted.
That's a lot of people in a short period of time. But at the same time, like, if all of us are tested, if all of us are, sharing, our shirts and showing, like, look, we're all clear, we're all, either negative or non-detectable or whatever our statuses are. That's, that is in my mind a lot safer than somebody who, is randomly hooking up or, kind of doing it over a longer period, because there's greater risk there. So it's not safe, it's not the safest possible method, because obviously using condoms and abstaining from sex is the most safe, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm not going to abstain. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sex workers who don't have sex don't make much money.
Yeah. Well, personally, like you're saying, then they're the safer options. Even though I get tested, I use condoms still. So anyone who thinks, oh, it's getting porn, you have to bareback, you don't, because I have actually never had a negative comment. I've only ever had a couple messages about it, and it's actually been, oh, that's quite nice to see. It's literally been so. Just some people, like I know people who put a condom on and they'll just go as limp as anything. So they can't actually use them because they can't maintain an erection anyway. But so for those who are thinking, oh, there's a lot of risks, there's another way to minimize it.
Right. Condoms, by the way, are very hard to use with a Prince Albert. They're not impossible, but it is harder.
Is it?
I actually have some specific brands of condoms that I buy that are less likely to tear.
I was going to say, it's got like a little pocket at the end.
So one of them, I'm not going to say the brand name for it, but it uses a hexagonal grid. And so like, instead of just a smooth rubber, it's actually like gridded out. And the idea is that it provides more flexibility and angular control so that it will hug the ring, so that the ring itself isn't sliding against the rubber to create friction to wear it out. Okay. They're not specifically designed for piercings, but they do work very well for piercings.
Interesting for those who have never heard about that before, who have a piercing and want to find one. There you go. Yep. All right, we have another question. This one came in late, didn't it? Have you ever filmed and then not used the content because it was terrible, bad, too short, etc.?
Okay, so the disclaimer on this one is that the person who asked me this question actually already knows the answer.
Okay.
So kind of, but not really. So there is a video that was just not really very good at all. And OnlyFans took it down after it was posted for a week, and I did not repost it because it was just, it didn't receive very good feedback on it, and it's better that way. There's also another video.
Hold on, before you move on, can you not elaborate on that?
So it was very early on in my filming. It was not a collaboration. It was somebody said, you can film us fucking. And it was just one of those kind of, it wasn't very hot. It wasn't very it was pretty vanilla. I was new to the videoing thing, so the camera angles were bad. The lighting was terrible. Not that my lighting here is great, but I'm in an office building, so I'm doing what I can. But the lighting was terrible. The camera angles were bad. It was just not a good video overall, and you could tell that there wasn't really chemistry between us per se. And that's one of the things that I commonly get comments on with my videos is there's really good chemistry with most of the people that I film with. This was definitely an exception to that. So I let that video die. There's a second one where, and this is where the comment actually came from. I was collaborating with this guy who had a very small following, which is fine, right? We all start somewhere. And so I rented the hotel room. Dude was like an hour and a half late for the collaboration. And we got there. He was supposed to be a top. He was supposed to be this big dick top that was like total stud and, college age. So we started filming, and within 5 minutes, the dude got off. And he came and he was like, well, I'm not going to be able to get hard again. Well, we're 5 minutes in and that is not enough for me to put on for a video. All of my videos are at least 15 minutes, maybe 13, depending on editing. But
the fact you knocked off the two. Some people actually.
Well, somebody call me out on it. But I don't post a video under 10 minutes. I don't see a point in it. unless it's like me flexing in the locker room and it's a 30-second clip. Like, I'm not going to post a 5-minute fuck video and call that, sufficient. So like, dude and I had a real quick conversation of like, look, man, you're going to bottom or you're going to get your dick hard again, because this isn't going to work. And so this top decided that he was going to play verse for the video. And so we fucked. The video came out to be like 11 minutes, 12 minutes total. He was having a really hard time bottoming. So I kind of took pity on him. But that was before the edit. We had 12 or 14 minutes of total footage, and then we had to like edit it down. So it was very short. And what I ended up having to do was, and I'll let this secret out, I always film from multiple angles, with at least 2 angles.
Okay, I know what you've done.
So what I did is I stacked the footage, one on top of the other, and then I took and I cut, the video of like the 3 minutes where he was fucking me before he came. I cut that from one, and then I cut that from the other, and I inserted it. So it looks like he fucked me for 6 minutes when it was just one angle and then the other angle. So that's how I got a full video out of not. Tricks. So like most of my videos, if you see them, they're actually going to look very similar to our setup right here, where there'll be a primary view, and then I'll show a second view in the corner from a different angle, to kind of like give you the, okay, here's my ass, and then here's, a side view of it or something like that, depending on, what's going on at the time.
Yeah, I quite like stuff like that.
Yeah, so it gives you a couple of different angles, and then like a lot of times I'll try and do, if I can have like 3 or 4 angles, the come shots will be like you get all of the angles at the same time or something like that.
Oh wow!
It just depends on how much I can, like how many angles I can actually get filming from. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of different, but it gets you that different footage. Or if you have somebody who's gonna come really fast, and you can cheat. You can cheat a little.
Yeah, so that's because with your Spielberg ways of filming, you've got all these angles going on. It's come in handy.
Yeah, no, it can.
All right, then. So we are going to end it there. But before we do, I just want to see if you have any things to say that you want to say to anyone, to the listeners, to fans you've already got, to potential fans, coming forward. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I guess the first thing, and I've heard other people on your podcast kind of say the same thing. Like I'm very grateful for my fans. That it's obviously we couldn't do what we do without them. So that, I am very appreciative of the support of everybody that, that follows me, that subscribes. It's very, comforting, and it's very, encouraging when I get, a lot of these positive comments and stuff from them, and see the numbers of subscribers either like staying the same or going up. And that's, it's all very, very cool. So I very much appreciate and understand, like, I came from a very poor background. So I understand what, $5 a month or $8 a month means to some people. So I am very appreciative when, people do subscribe from that. And so that's like, my fans are awesome. I love it when I'm out in public and, whether it's at the club or, at a bar or even a restaurant, and someone comes up and goes, "Hey, are you Boston Jock?" Like that for me is kind of cool. Funny short story, dark room in a club in New York City. I was fucking this person, and like someone comes up behind me and goes, "Dude, are you Boston Jock? I follow you on Instagram." And I'm like, "Okay, really nice to meet you. Thanks for coming up. This might not be the best time, but so it is really cool in a lot of ways when people come up to us and say hi and like recognize and acknowledge that. I would ask people to, maybe consider appropriate timing. If I'm with my grandmother, maybe not call me out for being a content creator. If I'm balls deep in somebody's ass, maybe let me finish first. But otherwise, like, it's really cool. Yeah. And so, I look forward to making more content, and connecting with more viewers and subscribers, and we'll see where this whole thing goes.
All right, that was brilliant. Well, thank you for coming on today. All right, well, hopefully everyone enjoyed that, and you can hear us next week. All right, tune in. Bye.
Bye, everybody.